every reporter in that room asked a follow-up, why won't you answer Peter's question, we would get answers.
Right. Well, that's the difference between your experience and obviously the experience now. Every single person in that room was in lockstep against you as a member of the Trump administration. Now, it's the exact opposite. Every single member in that room, by and large, when it comes to the Hunter Biden story, the third rail of American politics, avoids Hunter Biden like the plague. They know they cannot ask any questions for some reason that I'd probably find out at some point. You know how we're going to find out? When we follow the money.
But we know the reason, because they all want a credential to be in that room.
But Peter Doocy has a credential. He has the question. It goes beyond that. This is part of the cover-up that we saw in October of 2020.
With him.
That was Fox News' Todd Piro blasting the media for avoiding Hunter Biden's scandals like the plague. Outnumbered discussed an important moment at the White House press conference this week where Peter Doocy attempted to ask the hard questions.
Why is there a voicemail of the president talking to his son about his overseas business dealings if the president has said he's never spoken to his son about his overseas business dealings?
Well, first I'll say that what the president said stands. So if that's what the president said, that is what stands. And secondly,
about a New York Times article concerning Hunter Biden's business dealings, and he says, "I think you're clear." How is that not him talking to his son about his overseas business dealings?
We're not, from this podium, I am not going to talk about alleged materials from the laptop.
So are you disputing that the president's voice on the voicemail?
I am not going to talk about alleged materials on the laptop.
Are
it's
you
not
disputing
happening.
Then that it is not?
Peter, I refer you to his son's representative.
But as Kayleigh McEnany pointed out, why was there only one other reporter in the press pack that followed up on Peter's question?
How is that silence consistent with the president's promise to always level with the American public? Because, you know, in public he says he hasn't discussed these business dealings, and then at least according to the voicemail that's been obtained by the Daily Mail and Washington Examiner, it certainly seems like he was seeking to do exactly that, have a conversation about these business dealings. Is he leveling with the American public on this?
Phil, I hear your question, but what I can tell you from here, standing at this podium, is that I cannot comment on any materials from the laptop.
The concept of the media avoiding questioning the White House on Hunter Biden's scandals is nothing new. When the New York Post first reported the contents inside Hunter's discarded laptop in October 2020, mainstream media dismissed it as Russian disinformation. The contents of the laptop unveiled numerous personal scandals for Hunter, including a tangled web of overseas financial deals he was involved in. But the thing is, Joe Biden has long maintained he has zero knowledge of his son's overseas business deals, claiming he's never questioned him on it and that Hunter has never made money from China. However, this leaked voicemail Joe Biden sent Hunter in 2018 contradicts that, as he tells his son he thinks he's in the clear in relation to a New York Times article that links him to a dodgy Chinese oil tycoon.
Hey pals, Dad, it's 8:15 on Wednesday night. If you get a chance, give me a call. Nothing urgent. Just want to talk to you. I thought the article, at least the thing online, it's going to be printed tomorrow in the Times, was good. I think it's clear. And anyway, if you get a chance, give me a call. I love you.
Hunter Biden's scandalous business deals continue again to be shielded from the public. Kentucky Congressman James Comer attempted to gain access to Hunter's suspicious activity reports, known as SARS. In a letter, James Comer wrote to Secretary of Treasury Janet Yellen in May. It references a CBS report that showed over 150 financial transactions from Hunter had been flagged as concerning by US banks. As Congressman Comer points out in his interview with Jesse Waters, having that many SARS against your name is very uncommon.
What does it tell you about the Biden family business that not one, not two, not six suspicious activity flags were caught by Treasury, but over 150, Congressman?
Well, I came from a banking background. My family's involved in banking, and I can tell you this, it's very uncommon for anyone in America to get more than one suspicious activity report. 99.9% of Americans never get a suspicious activity report. But to get 150, I'm going to go out on a limb, Jesse, and say that's more than anyone in the history of the United States. And to have 150 suspicious activity reports proves what we've been saying all along. Hunter Biden is a national security risk.
Congressman Comer has been requesting these documents for a few months now to no avail. He's been denied access by the US Treasury Department, which he claims is the White House running interference, and what Jesse Waters claims is an administration cover-up. Comer told Fox News that the way Congress can gain access to these documents has all of a sudden changed under the Biden administration. In order for Republicans to gain access to the SARs, they would now need the Democrats to sign off on it, which would be very unlikely given the documents are from the president's son's bank accounts.
Well, it certainly looks like they're trying to cover for Hunter Biden, and this certainly is a pattern in this White House. But if you go back to the history of SARs, they were created right after September the 11th when George W. Bush was president. It was a way for banks to help the federal government try to catch foreign money laundering and terrorist groups who were funneling money in to potential terrorist cells in the United States. That's how suspicious activity reports came about.
Before the Biden administration came into power, members of Congress could just request copies of SARs, leaving Republicans confused as to why that's now changed to make it more restrictive. In James Comer's latest press release reads, the Treasury Department, however, claimed to the Wall Street Journal that it had made SARs available for every request we received, regardless of party, and will continue to do so. He then disputed that claim, writing, "This is not true." During a phone call on June 13, 2022, Treasury officials informed committee Republican staff that they will not provide SARs to committee Republicans unless Democrats join the request. It is troubling that the Biden administration is willing to provide a false story to the media to create the appearance of transparency while continuing to thwart congressional oversight. The Treasury Department today provided a generic statement to CBS on its protocol.
Well, the Treasury Department did not respond directly to CBS News' questions, but they did provide us with a lengthy response that reads in part, Treasury provides SARs to Congress in a manner that enables robust oversight and that is consistent with how other sensitive law enforcement information is often produced. It is not a political process. It continues, since the beginning of this administration, Treasury has made SARs available in response to authorized committee requests and continues to engage on the process with any individual members seeking information. And you've been in Washington a long time, Major. You know, the key word there is authorized, because the House Oversight Committee is controlled by Democrats, and they're the ones really with all the power to request the records.